Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to Quran and Tajweed, lesson 4. Today we're going to focus on Arabic alphabet chart and Hamza. So the Arabic alphabet chart will teach us how to connect the letters finally. So we can be able to connect the Arabic letters to make the words and the sounds, and also we're going to apply the harakats we have done already on them, and also tajweed in the future later on in the course. So today we're focusing only how to connect the letters, and the Arabic alphabet chart will help us focus on that for a while. So these are, we have seen this before. These are called the huruf al-hija, which are the alphabet. We read them before on the first video. So these are just the letters initially. This is what they look like without connecting them. And now this is the chart. At the beginning of the chart, we have alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha on this one. And these are all the same. So all the alif right here. So when you're connecting, when the alif is isolated, it looks like this. Also, when it's initiated at the beginning of a word or by itself, it looks like this, whether it's isolated or initiated. So this one, this is when it looks like, when it looks in the middle, which means it cannot be in the middle, but this is the end, is final actually right here. This is what it looks like, but in the middle, there's nothing connect to it. We talked about the letters before that don't connect on their left. So Alif is one of them. So this is what it looks like at the end, as well as this one. It could have other words here or other letters here, but it will not be connected. So that's what we call it median here. This is what it looks like. And the final, it's connected to something from the right here. And this is what it looks like at the end. And here's a ba when it's isolated, and when it's initiated, the word here. So this, it looks like this, like a half ba, but it's actually expected to add something here, and we will make examples here. We'll do a couple of examples in the coming up slides. And this is what it looks like in the middle. So this means it can be, it has something connected to both sides to make a word. And this is what it looks like, pretty much like this one, but also has a connection, connects to something on the right, on its right here. So this is what it looks like when it's final. So we're focusing on what it looks like, isolated, separated, initial, and in the middle. Same here, ta, tha, jim looks like in the middle. This is what it looks like when it's connected to something in both sides. So we get the idea here. And this is what it looks like at the final. Same here. So we will get to the next slide. So here we have the chart here. So we have the first 4 letters of the alphabet here. So the isolated alif, ba, ta, tha, we don't need to do much about that because it's isolated. It will always look like this. And the initial alif looks the same, but the ba, you can see, is different, which means this is initial ba, which means it's at the beginning of a word. So something will be connected here on its left, and the ba medial here is in the middle right here, which means it has two parts connected to it. It could be many here or many. It could be long word and a short word. It doesn't matter. And same thing here on all of these, but right here, the ta marbuta, we learned about it at the beginning of the course here. The ta marbuta at the end, in the final word, at the end of a word, looks like this, and it also has different sound when you stop and add it. So right here, it has a different sound, like it could sound like a hat at the end when you read it. We will get to it when we learn more about how to read verses and pronunciation later. And the ta maftuha right here, the ta, um, this ta right here at the end, this means it connected some things here. So it's in the final. It looks like this, and it always has a ta sound. And same thing here, that. And the next one, then we have jim, ha, ha, same idea here. And we have a couple of examples we can use. And then it's coming up, look up for the next video. This is just to learn about the chart, and you're welcome to see and maybe take notes on what it looks like when you connect it to something. Look at the shape, check out the shape, and then see if you can get that. It's very important. These all look the same. They just sound different, and you often have to remember the dots and where they'll go to make the sound. You can use your fatha kasra damma that we have learned already, but this one you can the shapes are different when it's in the middle, when it's initiated here. As you can see, they look the same, but sound different. But we'll get to a lot of words here, and stay tuned. Now, this chart, this part of the chart, we were going in order as you noticed, but this one we're not in order. We have these in order, but I squeezed wow here. It doesn't come after there. I put this in here because of the letters we talked about before that don't connect on their left. So I put the description here for every one of these. So I just had to put this here too, and perhaps Alif too. Alif also doesn't connect on its left, so it should have been here. I apologize for that, but that's why I squeezed the wow here, because it doesn't connect on the, so that's why you don't see them in the medial. It doesn't connect them at all, so it doesn't have, it's never in the middle. But the final, it looks like this. As you can see, something is connected to the sides here. So this means something is connecting. Same idea of the other ones, but these have these descriptions, and I just have to put them together to remind you of those letters that don't connect on their left. We will get to the connected letters when we start writing and actually learning about putting words together and reading the Quran. We will, this is going to be very important to keep in mind. And these are just the rest of the letters, and you can see what they look like. The sin, shin, sad, da, ta, da, ain, and ain right here. As you can see, they don't look the same when you're about to connect them. So usually isolated ones look the same from the alphabet. This is where the trick begins, when it's initiated, like it's the beginning of a word. So any of these, and we'll use them later to make words off of this. So watch out for the next video, inshallah rahman. And we're going to start going pretty fast after this. Same thing here, the letters, as you can see, the rest of them here, and also like the initial, you can see the shape. I just want you to focus on the shapes here and how they change shape when they're in the middle, initial, the beginning of a word, and at the end of a word. So we will use words that have all of this later. So this is just to teach you what it looks um, like the other slides here we talked about already. And just to point out, the hat right here is the trickiest one here. When it's in the middle, it looks like this, meaning it's connected to something in both sides. And then this is also hat, and this is hat. It could be like, as you can see, when it's at the end of a word, you use this type of hat and not this one. So if it's in the middle, this one, If it's at the beginning of a word, same, you use that one. But if it's at the end of a word, you can only use it in this form. And same thing with the yeah here. Yeah at the end, it looks like this. It's the same. But if it's in the middle, it looks like that. And when it's the beginning, it looks like that. So these are just to focus on the ha at the end and the yeah at the end and in the middle, how it looks different and which ha you use is very important. And we talked about the ta marbota having a ha sound, and it kind of looks like this. So not to be confused, we will use examples, bunch of examples in the next coming videos. So the ha at the end of a word is like this. And but if you see it and it has two dots, it's actually ta, but it could have a ha sound. But we will talk about it later when we get to the words in the Quran. And right here we have Hamza, as we promised to talk about in this lesson. It's very important. It's basically, it is one of the Arabic alphabet. These should have been on the chart. I just separated them so I can talk about Hamza separately. So it's one of the Arabic alphabet and also called glottal stop. So if we use a couple of examples here, it has a different sound like usually, depending on where it's at. So if we use an example of the first line here, initially, like we can have a word like sha'a, right? You're gonna have to, when you have a word like this, you also have maddi here. Anytime an comes after fatha right here with alif here, you have to have a madda. This is called mad wajib, but we will get to those later and as we get into details with the tajweed. So the so this hamza, we're using this hamza right here could be used like this, or it can also be on a like a yeah right here, and that will give you examples of all of this right now, at least most of them if we get the time for it. So to use the wow hamza right here, the hamza on a wow, we can use that by like words like this. Okay, words like this, mu'minun right here, mu'minun right here. So this is an example. If you see a word in the Quran, there are a lot of other words as well, which they have hamza on a wow like this. And an example of this one would be the third one right here. It could be like tara'iqa. Remember I said fatha right here with alif after automatically gives you um, maddi right here. It's not hamza, it's maddi because just these are actual words from the Quran. So I'm trying not to miss anything here. So I have to put all the details, but our focus is only hamza in this slide. It's the words that I'm choosing that come with all the other details here. Don't worry about it. We'll get to it later so you're more comfortable once you know. So tara'iqa right here, hamza right here, tara'iqa, right? That's one word. So once it's used as the ya in the middle, which will not have dots here, like alif maqsura, it will have hamza to give that sound. Iqa. It says e here in this word because of the fact that it has kasra. But there are other, we can use it in like this. The idea is to know that this is how it's used in the middle of a word. It's in the middle of the word, this one too. This is at the end. It could also be initial somewhere else, like when you use the word amanu, things like that. So these are just the simple examples to use. And if you use another, the last one, So this is very important and also tricky. So Gia, when you use the Gia here, because the Alif here, and I know like we will get into details of why this has a G sound and not has Ya here. We will learn more about those later, but the point here is we're using this one in a word and what it looks like. It's just that's where we at this point, inshallah. So I just wanna to point out what's coming up. So we're ready for it. I've been talking about connecting letters. So next lesson we will focus in details, and we're gonna learn how to connect letters. You will actually learn how to um, write. Finally, we're gonna get to it, and then we'll get to verses and so on in the after that. But this is just what's coming up after this lesson. We'll be practicing how to connect the letters using fatha, kasra, and dhamma, and then everything we have learned, like the tanweens, noon, and all those uh, examples we have used before in the tajweed. We will get to them in sections. But what's coming up after this is definitely connecting letters, so we know when we see the word. It's going to be very exciting. Look out for that. So that will be in lesson 5, inshallah. And we'll get to it. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan.